A sunny, sold-out Twickenham saw the final of the Gallagher Premiership 2024 with Saints taking on Bath. And now this was the final that all the neutrals wanted, and it did not fail to live up to its epic billing. It was a game filled with drama, game filled with emotion, and a game filled with tension. So let's have a little look how that match went down. So table toppers Northampton playing second place Bath. Northampton being the bookies' favourites to win this one. But both teams got off to a bit of a nervy start, particularly Saints, balls being knocked on. Both Finn Russell and Finn Smith, battle of the Finns here, missed relatively easy kicks in the first 5 minutes or so. But it was Bath who got the first points on the board with a penalty from Finn Russell, and that was soon followed by a nice drop goal from Finn Smith, making it 3-3. And the intensity and the physicality of Bath's defence at this point was amazing. And they were just doing massive hit after massive hit, and then it just went a little bit too far when Ben Obana unfortunately connected his shoulder to the head of, I'm trying to think who it was, Augustus. And it was kind of reviewed, and it was a red card after 20 minutes for Obana, which was fair enough. It was a high shot. There were no mitigating factors. So all of a sudden, despite Bath getting off to a fairly bright start, they're down to 14 men. Now, that is not what you want to be playing a very fluid Saints side. And poor old Ben Obana looked absolutely devastated at being sent off. It just looked like they wanted the ground to swallow him up. And then followed by that, poor old Alfie Barbary is the person who gets subbed to allow the replacement loosehead to come on. And again, he just looked devastated that he was out of the final after 20 minutes through no fault of his own. And then it looked like Bath's day was going to absolutely implode because there was two very quick, very well worked tries from Saints. First one coming through Freeman, second one coming through Slightholme, who's been amazing this season. He put a little kick through, went round the defender and just managed to dot it down in the far, far left corner of the dead ball zone. And all of a sudden, it was 15-3 to Saints. And it looked like Bath's day was going to be over. But Bath's response was magnificent, having gone down to that score. All of a sudden, there was a new level of ferocity in their defence. Ben Spencer was just kind of all over Mitchell, kind of really slowing down that fast ball that Northampton loves so much. And they started to creep their way back into the game. Things were going their way. They were winning the breakdown. They were forcing Saints into mistakes. Saints were making some fairly bad decisions when they did have the ball as well. And I think probably about 10 minutes or so before half-time, there was a line out down around about the 5-metre line, and Bath have been great with the line-out maul this season, and they managed to kind of move that maul forward. Then Dunn broke off, almost made it to the line, and then his front row partner, Detroit, who scored a monster amount of tries this season, picked the ball up and just managed to dot it down over the line. And that seemed to rejuvenate Bath as a team and as a crowd there as well. They had a lot of fans there, and that really rejuvenated them. And that meant as the halftime whistle went, Bath were only trailing by 5 points, having played that second 20 minutes of the first half with only 14 men. So, yeah, I guess to a degree it was game on. In the back of my mind, I'm still thinking Saints are going to be way too strong for a 14-man Bath side. But, yeah, love to know what you think. Did you see that Bath could come back at that point, or did you think Saints were going to wrap it up? Please do let me know in the comments. And whilst you're there, if you're really enjoying your club rugby and enjoying this channel, please do give it a like or subscribe. Just helps me get to more people. But yeah, second half kicks off. And to be fair, it's all Bath in the second half. They just carried on where they left off in the first half, still hitting monster tackles in there, winning the breakdown, really slowing the ball up, kind of blocking Mitchell off as a source of quick ball. And they really sort of kept growing and growing in that second half. And it wasn't too long before Bath won themselves another penalty. Finn Russell knocked another one over, and all of a sudden we're at a 2-point game. And I have to say, I think partway through that second half, Van Graham gave an interview to TNT, and I just loved the composure he had. just really logical, just talking about, yeah, we need to change our game plan now. This wasn't what we wanted to happen, but it's happened, so we need to adapt. And just his calmness and just the presence in the interview, you can imagine would have been such an uplifting factor for the Bath team at halftime if his halftime team talk was anything like that. So it really was game on at that point. And I was really hooked into that match. As a neutral, I was just loving every moment of it. It was a real, absolute monumental tussle, a real dramatic match that kind of captivated you and made you kind of just really be rooting for the underdogs there. I was kind of hoping Bath could really pull off something amazing. And I got the same sense that the Bath fans really thought something amazing might happen as well. I think then Saints got another penalty. They took it back to 18-13. Hendy then came on for Odendal. Odendal got injured in a two-man tackle almost on the Bath try line. Again, another example of great defence from Bath on the day. Off he goes. Hendy comes on. Little reshuffle in the back line. And it wasn't long after that there was a crossfield kick hit. And the kicking on the day, I think both from Spencer and Russell, was just absolutely exemplary. Two great masters at controlling a game. That crossfield kick went in. Hendy, probably slightly out of position, was running back, trying to get his hands on it. He managed to knock it backwards in the contest in the air with Muir. And then Muir dropped on it. And all of a sudden, Bath are level. Although they went on to miss the conversion, it was 18-18, probably about 15 minutes or so to go. And it was just, absolutely enthralling. And again, it wasn't too long before Bath's dominance at the scrum and at the breakdown showed again. And they won another penalty. And this time it's slotted over by Finn Russell. And all of a sudden, with about 11 minutes to go, I might have that slightly wrong, Bath were there leading. I think at that point it was 21-18, and that was just quite incredible. But then Saints finally managed to get their attacking game going for the first time in the second half. And Hendy, who'd just not been on very long, broke down the right-hand side. And he's a majestic runner, isn't he? Ball in hand. He's just so quick, strong as well, kind of shaking players off. And he kind of took it right up to the 5-metre line. And although Mitchell didn't probably have his greatest game in a Saints shirt, he was there on the shoulder, ready for it to be popped up from the floor. And he did a little bit of jinking, kind of hips, confused a couple of defenders, and he popped it over the line, pretty much under the posts. And that was a 7-pointer. And you could just see the absolute elation on the faces of the Saints players. I think they were just so relieved that they'd kind of got some control back on that game. So the fans were relieved. And going into the last 6 minutes or so, we had I think it was a 4-point game. It was 25-21. And I have to say, had it been less than a 3-point game, all my money would have been on Bath, because Bath had been so good at forcing errors from Saints at that point that I would have been convinced that they could have got a penalty to get them the winning score. However, it was a 4-point game, so they were searching for the try, and they had some chances in those last few minutes. Again, they moved the ball about nicely. There was some great attacking runs from people. I mean, I think particularly Lawrence had a great game in midfield. Cam Redpath did as well. But Saints were firm. They kept knocking them back, albeit there was I think they did get a penalty, kicked it to the corner, about 8 meters out for a line out, weren't able to convert that. And then they just kind of ran out of energy a little bit. I think they had another couple of chances, multiple phases once the clock had gone dead. But, they were basically snuffed out by Saints. And I think as a reflection, you have to say Northampton Saints across the season totally deserve that title. They have been the best team this season. They played the nicest rugby. They just look so slick in attack. Their defence has been at levels it hasn't been in previous seasons. So absolutely, congratulations to Northampton Saints. Fully deserved to be the title holders at the end of that season. But on the day, I think for me, Bath it was a heroic effort, really heroic. Um, they just played with such ferocity, such intensity, such I guess teamwork as well. You know, you could absolutely see the energy buzzing through the team. So on the day, I think probably Bath deserved it, but across the season, Northampton deserved it. And I think Hendy went away with man of the match. And I've got to be honest and say, I am not a fan of this notion where the man of the match award has to go to a player of the team that won. Because on the day, I just thought Sam Underhill was phenomenal. His tackling, just the ferocity in his tackling was absolutely amazing. You know, leveled player after player. Ted Hill, I mean, his ball carrying, he just kept popping up for more and more work. You know, he was pretty much the main ball carrier for Bath after Abano was sent off and Barbary was taken off. As I said earlier, I just thought Spencer had Mitchell in his pocket. Finn Russell, just great game control and great game management. But it wasn't enough. You know, Saints this season have been phenomenal at just scoring tries so quickly and so slickly. And they did get 3 on the day. And they were all 3 good tries. So I don't want to take anything away from Saints. You know, they're deserved champions. Loved watching them this season. But yeah, what a hell of a game to finish the season on. And I think all of those players can be really pleased with their efforts. And it just really gets me excited for next season. It gets me excited already. You know, I think, are we moving into a period now of Saints and Bath dominance in the Premiership? It'll be fascinating to watch. I hope you enjoyed the match yesterday. Please do let me know what your thoughts were in the comments. And yeah, please do like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.